Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is John Viglotti, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you joined us for our next live presentation from C2C Metals. Please note you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome our next presenter. He's Jason Bagg, Chief Executive Officer of C2C Metals Corp, which trades on the OTC markets under the symbol CTCGF and on the CSE under the symbol CTOC. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. As mentioned, my name is Jason Bagg. I'm the CEO of C2C Metals and just newly appointed, I might add. And in fact, I don't think I've been a week as CEO for C2C, but I'm honored to be here. And I might take as maybe I should give you a little bit of background about myself. I've been in the financial industry for over 25 years now. I started my career with Royal Bank of Canada, advising clients on different investment instruments. I then moved to Scotia Capital, became an options trader, and that's where shortly after that I got into the junior mining sector in the corporate finance field as well as investor relations. I'm currently the CEO and president of Uranium Energy, which is also a uranium exploration company. Now I'm going to try and bring you guys through the presentation to the best of my ability. However, there might be some things that I don't cover, so I urge you to feel free to reach out and ask any questions that you might have. I believe we're going to start the slideshow presentation now, or here we go. So why C2C Metals? Well, it's good to know a little bit of history about where C2C came from because it was formerly C2C Gold. And that's recently changed due to a shift to uranium because C2C Gold was known for gold copper assets in Newfoundland and the Yukon. But because of our access to a proprietary database that gives us a lot of information from companies such as Union Carbide, UV Industries, Ranchers Exploration, WR Grace, and parts of the Atlas Corp, we're actually able to see some different data that I have access to at one point, and it's full of data and discoveries that were not followed up since 3 Mile Island in 1979. So not only that, but we have a deep talent pool led by Chief Geologist Douglas Underhill, and we're going to get into a little bit later the board of directors. We have a world-class team behind this, and along with, there's a big, strong demand for nuclear energy and uranium, and the uranium that's going to be needed to fuel these reactors that are coming online or being extended. So we're focused on acquiring and advancing conventional uranium projects in the United States in what they call the agreement states, which have a more streamlined process and they're more uranium kind of friendly on the permitting side. So again, I mentioned that we did have access to a large exploration and mining database, and that's what we're going to cover a little bit more in the future as well. So we take a look at our share structure. We do have a robust amount of shares available out there in terms of we have shares outstanding of over 152 million. Fully diluted, we're looking at over 180 million. But one thing, even though it is robust, it's very tightly held. Board and management have 20+% of those outstanding shares, and strategic investors account for more than 40, and with well-known, friendly people to the company, and then the rest are in retail hands. So I did mention our board of directors, and some say that a company is only as good as the people behind it. And folks, well, we have an amazing world-class team, as I mentioned. Our chairman, Bill Sheriff, is a highly recognized uranium geologist and owner of the biggest proprietary databases of uranium properties in the entire world. He's built Energy Metals a while back, which he sold to Uranium on for $1.8 billion. He's building Encore Energy that is already producing, and he's already spun out ISR assets with nuclear fuels. So he is very well known in the industry and an amazing asset to have with the company. Our geomines are Dr. Richard Goldfarb, director. He's recognized as a geological authority on ore deposits with over 30 years in top positions with the USGS. Lori Walton, also director. She was an early mover on roll-front uranium mineralization in Alberta. And when you look at Eric Keller, Trey Wasser, and Jean-Ann Hauswald, they're all financial powerhouses in the capital markets. And so we have an excellent team that we're working with here. And I did mention a little bit earlier Dr. Douglas Underhill, who is our chief geologist, and he has over 40 years uranium experience and is recognized as a uranium expert worldwide. He was actually the chief geologist for the IAEA. And he has a lot of experience in the Utah and Colorado regions. So why uranium? Well, there's a long-term global uranium sector renaissance that's underway now, and it's been going on since 2017. And pretty much, if you're interested in uranium stocks, you already know about what's going on the nuclear side. But what is a nuclear renaissance? Well, nuclear power, which has been shunned for a long time, has now been embraced globally as a carbon-free way to provide a consistent 24/7 baseload power. In fact, at the COP28 meeting, more than 24 countries, including the United States, committed to tripling their nuclear power by the year 2050 in order to meet their carbon neutral demands. You do have other power sources out there like wind and solar, which are great and they're renewable. However, the sun always doesn't shine and it's not always windy. So it's good to have a good baseload power source like nuclear energy. So why invest in uranium? Well, when you look at the news, in the nuclear sector, and you look at any news, it's always almost on a daily basis that you see nuclear power plants are either coming online, they're being extended, or they're being planned. Well, the supply-demand gap is already present and continues to grow with every reactor coming online or being extended, and now the new technology with small modular reactors. So with all these, with Japan coming on and restarting their 17 reactors that they have, well, they're going to need uranium. So in short, the world is going to need more and more uranium to power all of these reactors. So not only is the supply not keeping up with that demand, but uranium prices need to stay above $80 to $90 a pound to actually bring on and make it more feasible for mining companies to actually produce. And there's also other factors that affect all of this and the supply and demand. You've got the U.S. sanctions on the Russian uranium. What's the U.S. going to do? There's going to be a big cutoff on supply there. So we need to have some kind of domestic supply to fill the demand of the reactors in the United States. Large producers not producing just as much as they thought they would. You see Kazatomprom having troubles, as well as Cameco trying to keep up with the demand and the outputs they had once provided guidance on. There's just not enough there. Plus, more investment needs to go into finding new sources of uranium. And that's something that the industry has lacked for quite some time because the uranium was out of favor for a while. I believe that covers this slide as well. So let's take a look at some of our properties. Now, the Melinda Uranium Project. Well, this is our primary focus. The Melinda Project is in the Utah's San Rafael Uranium District. It covers about 8 square miles with about 240 claims. We're currently working on permitting a drill program for this property, and we are planning to hopefully launch a drill program in 2024, so this current year. Now, the idea is to follow up on significant uranium mineralization that was found back in the late 70s and early 80s. And you might have seen this on, you might have seen this on a previous slide, or I did speak about it earlier, is that Utah is one of the agreement states, meaning that uranium exploration and permitting is streamlined. The Sun Uranium Project, this is an exciting project we just announced this morning, and now I'm able to talk about it. So it's our newest addition of properties coming from our proprietary database of uranium properties. So back in the 50s, New Jersey Zinc drilled about 23 holes that showed good grade uranium and vanadium mineralization. So historical shallow drilling was conducted, and where we will focus, and that's where we'll focus on that's where we'll focus on our planned exploration of the property. And you take a look at one more property here, the Blue Jay Mine Uranium Project. So this consists of about 28 claims spanning over 560 acres in LaSalle Uranium District. This was drilled by Uradco in 1981 that established historical resource from which we have a target of finding about 100,000 to 250,000 pounds of uranium with grades in between 0.15% to 0.25% at depths of about 330 feet to 360 feet. If we just jump back for 1 second on this map here, it shows how close all of our projects are. And when you look at the Uravan district and the Lisbon Valley and LaSalle districts, these districts of uranium have been responsible for producing over 150 million pounds of U3O8. So we're lucky to be within this corridor and in these districts. So wrapping this up, if you're looking to hold one junior uranium exploration stock in your portfolio, you should consider C2C Metals because we have the uranium sector expertise. We have access to large databases of conventional uranium assets. We're in progressive jurisdictions within the United States, and we've got the ever-growing supply-demand gap for uranium to fuel the expanding nuclear power industry. So we've included some slides in the appendix you can take a look at. We just wanted to cover the uranium properties today, but if you do have questions about them, I feel free to reach out. And with that in mind, I'd like to thank you for joining us today, and we'll turn it over to the question and answer portion of the presentation. And if you could kindly keep in mind that I'm the new guy here, so if I might not be able to answer every question, but if I can't, then I'll certainly get back to you with an answer. Thank you very much for your time today. Okay, we've got a question here. Can you provide a quick primer on small modular reactors and how and where will they be used and impact on uranium pricing? Well, small modular reactors require something called HALEU, which is high assay, low enriched uranium, which is enriched uranium past the point of 5% that you'd see in a conventional reactor. So there is more uranium needed for it, but these small modular reactors provide a lot more, there's more convenience with it. There's a smaller footprint because small modular reactors can be built in factory settings, so it's a more controlled environment. And they can actually link these together to create more of a power that's needed for the grid in certain areas. They're more portable, they're self-contained, they can actually go into more rural areas and don't need to be right on a lake or in a water source because they have that self-contained water source. So that's where a lot of the countries are going more towards that type of technology for their nuclear power needs. And once they get to the point where they're going to start building these things, they will need the uranium, and the effects will still be, because if they're going to be building more, then they're going to need more uranium. So I hope that answers your question. I have a question here. Let me see. Well, what are your milestones to the end of the year? Well, from what I know, and I can expand on this a little bit more and get back to you with an email, but we are looking at permitting a drill program for the Melinda project. And that's something that we're looking at budgeting, putting together the drill program and getting the permits done on that. We will be looking at other work, or maybe plan some work for the other projects as well. So those kinds of milestones is what we're going to be looking at. I will expand that a bit more to you, as I said, through email, if that helps. Okay, so we have a question here about our OTC listing. Well, we're down the path of getting an OTC listing, and we did halt that for a little while to get through the year end. But now we are going to pick up where we left off on that and get listed as soon as we can on the OTC, so that the people that are investing through this platform can absolutely be able to partake in that. I have a question here about some of the historical. Again, I'm going to have to get back to you on that question. We do have your email and everything here, so I will have to get back to you on that. Other than what's in the PowerPoint, I have yet to see the data on all of these projects, but that's something I can get back to you with in a short amount of time. And that looks like that's all the questions we have. There is a question here about if we can expand on the proprietary database. Well, Bill Sheriff has the biggest database of uranium properties in the United States, in the world. He's going through it. Apparently, he's only 10% through, and we're already looking at phenomenal projects that are coming out of it that have been, they've been forgotten about, or they just haven't been looked over for a very long time, like upwards of 40 years. I mentioned since 3 Mile Island, that kind of thing. So we have got a long way to go with that, and we can expect some more acquisitions from that database. I hope that answers your question there. Okay, I think we've pretty much covered. Is there any other questions that are available that people want to ask? Oh, hang on. Okay. Once again, thank you all very much for joining us today. Appreciate it, and feel free to contact me directly if you have any questions, and I will get back